Oh, why do they lie? Yeah. There's only one way to go, and that's Web 3.0. Don't be evil, Flux freeing all the people. Fluxing on them now like a cheat code. Flux gon' keep you from a breach though. And you know we Web 3.0. Don't be evil, Flux freeing all the people. Fluxing on them now like a cheat code. Flux gon' keep you from a breach though. And you know we Web 3.0. I know we fighting these corporate tyrants. They try to silence, but we can see. They tried to censor our speech. They want no privacy. At night I can't sleep, cause my data, they gonna breach. Don't be evil, plus freeing all the people. Flexing on them now like a cheat code. Flux gon' keep you from a breach though. And you know we Web 3.0. Don't be evil, Flux freeing all my people. Flexing on them now like a cheat code. Flux gon' keep you from a breach though. And you know we Web 3.0. And you know we Web 3.0. And you know we Web 3.0. We gon' fight.
We are
hello.
live.
I was
Morning,
just
everybody.
bouncing to the intro.
Yeah. That
Oh, I just wanted to
man. Like I love it. Go ahead, Richard. Sorry. It's
I
your
was
dog.
just going to say
show.
welcome to the first ever proof of work AMA roundtable. Man, so many projects. We've been talking in the back, but wow, I think we've got a lot coming on now.
There's an unreal amount of brain power in the backstage right now. Unreal amount.
Brain's blown already, and we've not even started. So yeah, just wanted to give a quick breakdown to the projects. And guys, if you can like, share, retweet on Twitter, that would be fantastic. YouTube, get pressing those buttons. Get the crowd out for the first ever POW AMA. We've got Kadena on the show, we've got Ergo on the show, we've got Nexa on the show, we've got Casper on the show, we've got Radiant on the show, we've got Alephium on the show, we've got Riptorium on the show, we've got Meowcoin on the show, and Neoxa. Have I missed one?
I think you got them all, buddy.
Oh, wow.
That's a hell of a mouthful, I know.
Yeah, I've got the list up in front of me. I can't forget one of them before we go. So yeah.
Well, if we did forget anybody, they'll forgive you real quickly.
Yeah, if you want to come along next time, please welcome. So I'm going to give Dan a short intro to give him a bit of an idea what the space is all about. It's about coming together of a lot of PO work projects, and I think we probably needed to do this for a long time.
Yeah, amen, brother. And first of all, I want to thank all the community for joining today. We've got a very vibrant bunch in there, and it's cool to see all the activity. I asked today that we leave all the price talk, anything about why my project's better than yours, the tribalistic pieces to the side. Please don't jump in on those. I also want to thank all of the team members who boldly accepted and gratefully accepted the ability for all of us to come together today. So. I have a script, but the thing that makes everybody likes about me is I never follow the damn script. I say what I feel. And today I want to say that, you know, one of the things that's really concerned me recently is proof of work seems to be taken off. I think we all understand the value of proof of work, whether it's on a regulatory compliance background or whether it's just the projects and the positivity, some of the ambiguity in the states around what's a security, what's not a security, so on and so forth. We know proof of work fits right in the sweet spot, right? So this is very precarious times for us. We are sitting right now on the precipice of a CBDC. We are looking at unprecedented regulations forthcoming. We are looking at some challenges and really some attacks on proof of work as well. We've heard them talk about the energy thing that they talk about, which is really irrelevant. And honestly, you know, it's important that we defend proof of work and we become educated around that. So with that being said, I want to issue a challenge to every single person in every single community and every single one of the co-founders that are on this today. Each one of us are going to take a commitment today. When we leave here, we have to leave something better for our children than what we have today. We have to give them some semblance of privacy, security, data ownership, other than debt, because all we've given them up to this point is an unreal amount of debt. And now what we have the opportunity to do with proof of work is give them something more. When Satoshi Nakamoto penned that Bitcoin white paper, he understood there would be more. He understood too that if you wanted to do something different, you forked it, you moved to a different product. And that's exactly what these proof of work projects bring to the table. Each and every one of them is doing something unique and something amazing. Interchain operability, the ability for these chains to work together, is the holy grail of blockchain. And my commitment, and the commitment of all of the co-founders that are joining here today, or the representatives of the project, is to get back to basics and really talk about proof of work the way that it should be. Let's take that opportunity and let's give our kids something better than what we had, right? And we have the ability to do that now. So today I'm issuing a challenge to every one of the projects on this call and to every single one of the community members that are in this as well. And they'll be watching this live stream from probably many years to come. This is historical today, right? So for the very first time, blockchain projects, proof of work projects have come together to do better, right? To get their community motivated and have them do better. The tribalistic bullshit that, you know, my bag's better than your bag, that ends today. It's about creating the opportunity for all of these chains to work together. So there's 4 commitments. 1, we're going to recommit to proof of work. That means work with our community so they understand the value of proof of work. We're also going to start some educational initiatives around that. Each one of the projects that you're seeing today is going to work with educational, ongoing, web-based training in the future. What the history, I'll be talking old man Dan, talking about the history of Bitcoin and the history of proof of work. We'll have each one of these projects talking about why they are individually awesome in what they're doing. And we're also going to set initiatives for each one of these projects to work together in the future. We are going to also start some political motivation packs. So we're also going to work and support people and individuals who are pro proof of work. We've seen this. We've had the opportunity to do this. You got Elizabeth Warren creating her anti-crypto pack. We're going to do the exact same opposite. We're going to create a pack specifically for candidates and individuals who support proof of work, who support blockchain initiatives. And the last thing that we're going to do is we're going to commit to the community to do this. Once a quarter, we're going to have this meeting. All of us are going to come together again, spread the word and talk about it. And all of us are going to come together and we're going to talk about the positives of proof of work and what each one of these projects is bringing to the space. So I thank each one of you for coming today. I'll get off my soapbox because you don't want to hear all from me. You want to hear from all these amazing people that are on this presentation today. So Richard, I'll turn it back over to you.
Oh, thank you, Dan. I just wanted to give a shout out to a few more people as well. So you can follow me on Twitter at TSM Crypto. But I just wanted to give a shout out to Jeff Key, who's running the yard. So he's running the StreamYard today. So thank you, Jeff Gay, because it's going to be a hell of a lot of work swapping out all these projects. And to Betty as well, huge shout out because she's been out and she's grouped everybody together really, really fast. So we only thought about this a couple of weeks ago, I think, and to turn it around in that time is amazing, literally amazing. So thank you, Betty. So shall we get the show rounded? So
let's bring them on.
Let's bring them up one by one. So we're going to start with Kadena. So welcome, Doug.
Hey, everyone. Thanks for having
coming
me.
up, Doug. My thick Yorkshire accent, so the way I say Doug probably isn't the normal way.
Close enough.
Doug, I don't know if you guys know this, but Doug's in heaven. So
Yeah.
that's going toward the white light there. He's got the whole setup.
I'm loving the background. It is super futuristic. You know, I'm going to steal it. To be fair, I'm going to get like a mock-up and just put it behind me like that. But at the moment, I've got Flux nodes, so I've got 7 Flux nodes behind me, so getting the getting the spinning. So Doug's the director of engineering for Kadena. I don't know if you just want to give a brief outline of what Kadena is and why you created it.
Sure. Kadena is, like you were saying, a proof of work blockchain. We're kind of the first and only that I'm aware of scalable proof of work blockchain that's out there today. And the way that we scale is by creating multiple chains and linking them together so that they can communicate. I would make the case along the lines of what Daniel was saying, that multi-chain is definitely the future. I really think it makes a lot of sense. If you want to have a decentralized Twitter, great. Maybe you should have that on kind of a standalone blockchain and not put it in where a lot of financial things are happening. And like there's just so much opportunity for different blockchains that serve different purposes. And proof of work is the most decentralized, the most permissionless and trustless. And I think Kadena is in a great position. Our blockchain can be scaled by creating multiple chains. And that means that we also have the underlying primitives to deal with a multi-chain landscape. And so, yeah, that's kind of like the elevator pitch on Kadena. There's tons more to go into, but I'll not bore everyone.
Doug and I have been working together for a long time. The Kadena is a good project. We go way back.
Quite a ways now, yeah.
Amen.
Been researching the chain web stuff. It seems really interesting. How many chains you got at the moment? Something like 20 chains?
We're on 20 chains. We started with 10 chains, and then we jumped to 20 to prove that we could actually scale this thing in the real world, and we did that. This is kind of a diagram of the chain, the way the chains are organized that I have on my shirt. And yeah, we can process 20 times as much capacity as basically a single chain proof of work chain.
Yeah, and it seems like you're doing a lot of work with Marmalade at the moment, and that's standard in terms of smart contracts. So there's definitely a lot going on.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Doug.
Why did you sort of choose proof of work as a consensus rather than proof of stake?
We don't think that proof of stake is decentralized because not anyone can join and participate in the system. If the original stakers who had the majority stake decide not to sell their stake, then there's nothing you can do to participate. And that doesn't seem like a decentralized thing to me. Decentralized means that anyone can come in. Now, sure, there are obstacles, right? You got to be able to run the systems and, have electricity and all of those things. That kind of is unavoidable. But we felt like proof of work is the thing. And then once we actually got in and started to think about scaling it, it turns out that proof of work is actually easier to scale than proof of stake. And so it's kind of a nice, happy, convergence. And, another analogy I would use to describe Kadena is a multi-core blockchain. We're multi-chain, and you can maybe think of that as very similar to how computers kept on getting better performance by adding more cores that could calculate things in parallel. Very similar.
Awesome.
Yeah. All right, Doug, hang out. We're gonna about 2 minutes.
Bring you back.
Yeah, Richard. Let's move. We got a lot of projects to get through. So
yeah, let's
hang loose, Doug.
Hang loose, and we'll get on to the next one. Who shall we bring up next? Shall we bring up something completely different?
David, you can lead the people up. You don't have to take them back down again if you want. Yeah. So
let's move to Alephium. Let's do Alephium because that's something completely different.
Well, actually, you've probably chosen the most similar project that you have here today, but that is okay. You'll know for next time. So, hi everyone. I'm really happy to be here, and I will be speaking for Alephium. So maybe should I start giving a little bit of background on Alephium?
Yeah, just give us a 2-minute pitch on sort of
course.
why the project was created and sort of what problem it solves. So that'd be great.
Yeah. So Alephium was created seeing a little bit the shift that we've seen in the crypto industry, kind of in the, as blockchain has been posed as the solution to pretty much everything, we've seen a lot of the industry move away from the core value that, brought it together first, decentralization, self-sovereignty, security, in pursuit of scalability to meet kind of the performance necessary to be a solution to all of the world's problems. And what we wanted to do with Alephium is to show that we could deliver scalability without compromising on those fundamentals. And this is why we chose to improve on the core technology of Bitcoin, UTXO, and proof of work to offer a scalable blockchain. Similarly to Cadena, we are also a sharded blockchain. So we have currently 16 shards running on our mainnet, and we can scale up to 10,024 shards. And we have a number of new technologies. So we're not a fork of Bitcoin, but we build, of course, on those technology. So we have a number of innovation on our UTXO model. Even on the proof of work side, we have something called proof of less work that we can talk about maybe later. We have our own virtual machine, and we have a lot of innovation on that front. Maybe one point that is interesting, I don't know, I will stop here. That is about Alephium for now. I will let other people
I was
speak
just
first.
about to start asking questions about virtual machines, so let's because I think the projects have probably got a different output and what you wanted to sort of deliver in the long term and the problem you want to solve in the long term is not the same. So there's going to be a lot of different crossovers, but very slightly, I think.
Yeah.
And that's 2 minutes. Oh, okay, shall we bring the next one up? So let's bring up definitely something completely different. Meowcoin. I forgot Meowcoin on.
You sure do. How you going, guys?
Hey, good. Heard about this project a long time ago. So how long you been going now? About a year?
No, 6 months. So we started on the 1st of September.
Only 6 months.
So, we just kind of clocked over 6 months not too long ago. A little bit of background. We are obviously a fork from Ravencoin, which itself is a fork of Bitcoin. We've got an asset layer built into the actual algorithm itself. And one of the key things that we were really keen about when we started the project was how do we bring a real world use case to blockchain? How do we make it a tangible element? So what we have tried to do is take a portion of the block reward and push that into partly the development, but partly also animal shelters. So bringing sort of a real world consequence to all the great work that people are doing with sort of proof of work. What we've done is we've brought on some partners who we're partnering with in a long-term capacity to donate to. And our, I suppose, ultimate aim at one level is to tokenize pet adoption from animal shelters onto the blockchain itself to help with that. And then the next step would be pedigree papers for animals itself. So that's kind of our core layer 1 element. We've got some layer 2 opportunities which we're starting to pursue and look into, which is great. And partnering with Flux obviously gives us that opportunity to do it. But yeah, so that's sort of the nuts and bolts of who we are. I suppose the truth of why we started it was, if I'm being really honest, I'm a miner. I mine. I love mining. I think it is, in my mind, the fairest and best way forward for, I suppose, a system of decentralized finance and the ability for our kids, so to speak, to be able to inherit a better world. I definitely believe in that sort of vision, particularly what Satoshi put forward. And I wanted to contribute in that sense. So I wanted to build a project to contribute in that way. So my partner and I, Manta, have worked with that. We built a small little team who have the same ethos. And I suppose for us, we really just want to be part of this journey with other, projects and do our part in that sense. So that's a little bit about us. Plus, we've got a cool cat on a hat. And who doesn't like cats?
I want that damn hat.
Yeah.
I think all of us can agree in the world of proof of stake, dog, meme, shit coins, it's refreshing to see something that's not a bullshit scenario. So welcome to the show, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
And you're delivering a lot more than I think I did listen to you. I think you're doing a garage interview a while ago. No, I listened into you guys on that, and to be fair, you're actually delivering a lot more now. So I think the smart contracts idea is really good, especially in dog ownership and lost dogs as well. So I can see that having a benefit.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And we've got a couple of partners who are working with us at the moment for that adoption piece, which we're really excited about. It's obviously, it takes time. That's how this whole thing works, right? Nothing happens overnight, but progressing and working towards that is the goal, and that's what we're aiming to do. And it's nice to know that the money that we're donating is actually helping people, well, animals in that sense. And we're in regular contact with them. We've got a little Meowcoin nursery in the Edinburgh dog and cat shelter, which is super, super cool. And to know that we're actually assisting in the work that they're doing is an extremely satisfying piece of all this. So, yeah.
Love it. Great work, guys. Keep on going. I can't wait to see more on that. So I'll quickly move on though, because I think, how long have we got in? We're already 20 odd minutes in, and we've got through 3 projects. Wow. So shall we bring up Radiant next?
Yeah, hello. How's everybody doing today? Thank you for having us. We really appreciate it.
I love the name, by the way.
Thank you.
Davey, we can't see him.
I think it's just on mic.
Yeah, I'm just on mic only.
Okay.
I'll be very clear. I'll be very clear with everyone, like I am with my community, that I'm a community ambassador. I did not design this coin. I'm not the creator of it or anything. Sometimes I get that, but I am not. I'll be very clear. I'm just a community ambassador, someone who's very passionate about technology, and I work for a very large tech company, and we're not necessarily allowed to moonlight, but I like my freedom and I love the project, and so that's why I'm here and speaking for Radiant.
That's understandable.
Yeah, so just appreciate that, and I appreciate you all for having us here. We are new, like Meowcoin, so we are 298 days old today. Very young community. Radiant is a hard fork of the Bitcoin Cash system. It was brought back to Genesis by removing unnecessary parts, and then was given upgrades with all of the learns of 14 years of blockchain technology. So it has induction proofs, which allow for solving of back to Genesis, zero confirmation proofs, and it is UTXO based architecture, but it does have some virtual machine characteristics because of these innovations. So really looking at peer-to-peer cash plus smart contracts as a ecosystem. Really excited to work with everyone in this ecosystem and the partnerships that we have. We're running some of our community pages off of the Flux nodes. So loving the service that we have, and just excited to continue this in the future. So that's a little bit about us, and yeah, hope to continue these.
Sounds good. Thank you very much for joining.
Hey, yeah, and you don't have to be the founder to be the expert.
No, you
so don't worry about it.
And I'll say, I'm definitely not an expert on everything. One of the most amazing things that I really love about Radiant is that the great technology was dropped onto the community, and our founder, like Satoshi, decided that he wanted the community to really run the project, and he stepped back completely. So that made it so that we had to figure it out on our own. We had to bootstrap. And I never ever thought that I would get to know people across the world and deal with them on a daily basis, get to know them as friends. And really, we're all passionate about making sure that big block, scalable blockchains that are useful to push humanity forward, like that's our goal. It's a big picture thing. And I really I'm so proud of everyone in the community and what they've done.
A lot of work goes into running a blockchain on a day-to-day basis. You don't even imagine what you see behind the scenes, and the developers to to marketing, to front end, to PO work, to making sure everything works, to making sure the nodes work, to making sure that the code's fit for purpose and it goes out. And all that education and resources is vital. And I think people actually taking that on from the community, yeah, that's a huge achievement. So thank you.
Hey, and I'll just last thing I'll say is it's not me, it's the community. If anything,
Exactly.
I'm just a facilitator of getting people to collaborate together, and that's what I really love about it.
Working around the Flux space, I think I noticed like 90% of it is the community, and it's the community that drives the blockchain rather than the other way around. I think as long as you work in the right direction, from what I'm hearing, everybody's got very similar core values. And I think that's probably what I'm gauging is that's what proof of work is. And people believe in the decentralization and they believe in the values and what we're moving to. So, yeah. Shall we bring up another guest? Who shall we go to next? Shall we bring up Ergo?
Hi everyone, my pleasure to be here. Ergo is a conservative proof of work blockchain completing the revolution started with Bitcoin, we believe. It has many features, and yeah, it's written from scratch. It's not a Bitcoin fork after all. One truly unique feature, I believe, is that you can build cryptographic applications using a subclass of efficient zero-knowledge protocols, so-called Sigma protocols. And thus, for example, in the ecosystem, you can find stealth address application or non-interactive and non-custodial mixer done on application level. Something like maybe a sneaker proposal for Bitcoin, but on steroids and also really implemented. Then we have contracts, but done differently than in Ethereum and other smart contract platforms, so not virtual machines. So it's more like a Bitcoin approach, but with using more elegant description of programs. We are just interpreting abstract syntax trees. There is support for custom tokens as first-class citizens. Then we have quite a rich ecosystem already. A lot of NFT projects, decentralized auctions, lending, stablecoin, DEX, and so on. And what is making Ergo unique is that, for example, in lending, we have bonds protocol called SigmaFi. Well, the community loves Sigma everywhere, Sigma letter. And then, SigmaFi is working in peer-to-peer fashion as well as auctions, decentralized auctions. So you have the same UI as OpenSea, for example, in Ethereum, but under the hood, it's about peer-to-peer interaction. So there is no any central contract with governance or update possibility, freezing button, rug pull option, or whatever, right? So it's just peer-to-peer self-sovereign DeFi, basically. There is also on-chain governance, so miners can change block size, for example, via voting. There is no need for off-chain dramas then. So it's on-chain voting and so on. So yeah, that's
Awesome. Well, welcome
that's
aboard,
Ergo
man.
in shorts. And, yeah, my pleasure to be
Yeah,
here.
it's short.
And-
Yeah, I think you could probably go on for another 4 hours, but that's okay.
I think, yeah, we could be here all night if we went
All right.
if we went into depth on every project. But yeah, I think as we build into this in the future, I think once we know each other's projects more and more, I think you'll be able to see a lot more cross associations and how you could possibly work together as well. Hopefully, so that'd be great.
All right.
Okay.
Let's bring the next one up, Richard.
Let's bring the next one up. So we have Caspar. Out there.
Hey, that's me.
Hey,
Hey
mate.
guys, thanks for the opportunity. Glad to be here. Glad everybody showed up and to be part of this space. So Caspa is actually extremely unique in the fact that it's the fastest open source proof of work decentralized blockchain. We're actually not even a blockchain, we're a block DAG. And the DAG is a directed acyclic graph. And these are pretty much a web of blocks that allow orphan blocks without getting too into detail about it. So it allows orphan blocks to exist, so we don't waste any computed energy. Our use case is actually the original use case for cryptocurrency, and that is to be a currency. That's what we're really shooting for. We want to be like Bitcoin 2.0. So Bitcoin's slow. If we wanted to go through a drive-through, you would have to use, process with Bitcoin. You would have up to a 10-minute wait. Where we don't want to wait. We just want to do an instant transaction, send it, go, everyday use, everyday currency. And Caspa actually stands for silver in ancient Aramaic. And silver historically was the #1 for transactions. So that's what we're trying to shoot for. We want to be the transaction chain for everyday use. We have solved the blockchain trilemma, and with the Rust rewrite, we're actually going to be getting even faster. So, I mean, it's been estimated up to 30 blocks per second, and 6,400 transactions per second, and that's actually conservatively. This could change depending on testing, but we do have to test and feel it out.
Awesome. Thanks for coming on board. I'm going to speed things up a bit, so let's bring on Raptorium.
You're on mute.
I knew one person would do it.
Yeah, well, I knew it would be. I knew it would be Big Piggy, man.
Anyway, hi guys, I'm David Morris, Big Piggy 01 from the Raptorium project. We are very much a proof of work project. We're using it basically for decentralization in order to keep on growing a steady user base. We're CPU proof of work mainly. It's also possible to mine us with GPUs. Asics are theoretically possible, but they're horrendously expensive on the algorithm we're using. So hopefully they're not going to show up anytime soon, but we do have plans for kicking them off the network once they do. They're not welcome, plain and simple, because they centralize into large industrial facilities and people who can afford it. So in that sense, we're very much in keeping with the original spirit from Bitcoin and from some of the projects before Bitcoin. Yeah, we are using a combination of Dash code, Bitcoin code, and code from Apache. We are going to use Apache Spark as our VM solution because it can essentially run anything. We're mainly having problems with figuring out exactly how to delimit what it can run, but that means we can, exactly as what some of you have mentioned earlier, cross-chain very easily, as the nodes and the decision-making logic that Dash implemented for some of their security systems on top of proof of work are able to make relatively simple decisions for an additional security layer on top of contracts. We're choosing to go this way because all of us know there are considerably better auditing tools for proper programming languages compared to something like Solidity. It's hot garbage. There is basically.
How do you really feel about it?
I just told you, hot garbage. I mean, we see that in the $1 billion. How many million this week? 200 or something like that from different Solidity protocols. We've also got a DeFi project launching, building on RTM and its own chain, which is going to be taking it all the way back to the original Bitcoin concept for contracting. And not even contracting, more like transaction tagging, and then just basically putting things up in a fully transparent manner so that anybody can hop on an Explorer and verify what's being done in these DeFi offerings, and keep it nice, keep it transparent, and keep it within a transaction tag to access
Make sure
these
everybody else is
facilities.
muted so that we don't have a background feed, please. Thanks. Sorry.
And keep it within the field of basically a very simple transaction tag, adding something like BTC call 600 for a call on the BTC market for 600 seconds for 10 minutes. But anyway.
Well, thank you, and thanks for being on here today. We really do appreciate it.
Yeah, we're going to open up again for questions later on anyway, but I know Doug's here, so we wanted to open up sort of a first round of AMA questions if you've got any for Kadena. So I don't know if Jeff, can you line some up?
Do we wait a minute, is everybody
Oh,
had an
Nexa.
introduction? Yeah, Nexa.
No, we've not brought up Nexa, but let's do Nexa quick.
Bring them up.
We got Nexa
And I
still
gotta
left
do-
and Nyoxa, guys.
I'm really sorry, guys.
Let's keep her moving.
Nyoxa and Nyoxa, and I want to give it real quick about Flux too. So let's just, 2 minutes, guys. Let's get through. We have exactly 5 minutes to get through 3 projects.
Hey everyone, I'm Paul Church. I work in the Nexa project, and thank you very much for bringing the proof of work projects together, guys, because I think that's a really important campaign you've kind of built here. So I'll give a quick rundown of Nexa. The main 2 goals are maximizing utility and making it as useful as possible for as many people as possible around the world. That was kind of the original goal of Bitcoin. We're all kind of old school Bitcoiners, and we're kind of trying to keep the goal, the dream alive of that, really. So the way to achieve that is through scalability. And in terms of how Nexa scales, so Nexa is aiming for, even with current technology, around 100,000 transactions per second, which most people actually don't believe that that's possible. And that's all on layer 1, no separate chains, UTXO-based blockchain. And so there's a learning that we've discovered, which is that an assumption that's been taken for proof of work blockchains, which is that all of the node infrastructure has to go through a CPU, right? And actually, you don't have to put it through a CPU. You can actually use specialized hardware as long as it's cheap enough. Then it's completely reasonable expectation for a node to purchase that hardware to run a node, especially when we're talking about billions, potentially trillions of dollars of economics happening through the network. So if you actually look at how proof of work scaled over the years, if you look at Bitcoin, for example, the original mining hardware, CPUs, to today's ASIC machines have gone basically a 10 billion fold increase in efficiency over that period of time, which obviously is unimaginable increase in speed. And Nexa wants to use that same kind of scaling benefits from proof of work and apply them to the hardware that goes into the full nodes, so that it essentially removes the compute bottleneck. That's computation is one of the bottlenecks for scaling. And then Nexa has a number of other solutions that also solve the bandwidth bottleneck and then the storage bottleneck as well. So once you remove all of these scaling bottlenecks, you can achieve a very, very significant increase in throughput, which we believe, today's technology, you can achieve 100,000 transactions per second roughly. And, by the time we actually get full globalized usage of cryptocurrency, that can be much, much higher, because obviously, thanks to Moore's law, technology is constantly improving. So that kind of takes care of the scalability side of things. And then in terms of usability, Nexa, although it's a UTXO-based blockchain, it actually has much more primitives than you would normally find on UTXO cryptocurrencies, which allow it to do things much more similar to EVM blockchains by using multi-UTXO smart contract architectures. And Nexa also has tokens as like natively on the chain. So you can just send and receive and create tokens without having to use a special smart contract to do so. So yeah, again, the main goal is to make it as useful as possible for as many people as possible around the world. And yeah, using these key technologies to achieve scalability and make it like incredibly useful financial infrastructure.
Awesome.
Welcome, Paul. Thank you for joining us, man. And I think we've got
one more, I think.
Neoxa.
Yeah,
Neoxa.
Neoxa.
Let's do a real quick on Flux too as well. So,
Sounds
Neoxa,
good.
you're up.
Neoxa's up.
Hey guys, what's up? I'm Andy from Neoxa. Just want to say, first of all, thanks for hosting this. It's really cool. Neoxa is the first proof of work project that allows people to get started earning cryptocurrency without having to invest. They don't have to buy anything such as NFTs as seen as other projects. While we started out as a Ravencoin fork, we are now moving to a Dash fork while still keeping the algorithm. And we want to make sure we keep GPU-only network as we promised since day one to our community. That's basically what we promised, and we're going to keep that promise. Neoxa was created after we've seen so many NFT projects create gaming projects. And yeah, with Neoxa, you don't have to buy those NFTs, and you can get started with Neoxa as you wish. We just want to make sure people get more eyes on cryptocurrency, such as the gaming community. The gaming community is quite big. And if we can allow all those projects to see what cryptocurrency is all about, first of all, we get more eyes on proof of work, and we also get more eyes within cryptocurrency, and that's what Neoxa is all about. Neoxa has already established itself as a successful provider for gaming servers where gamers can earn Neoxa. They get paid daily, and the user has the freedom to decide to sell, keep the Neoxa, or they can spend it on the marketplace where we will add Neoxa to daily burns. It's already added, so people can buy in-game items and it burns Neoxa. And we're actually adding Flux to it soon, where people will be able to spend Flux within our marketplace and the Flux will be burnt. I know it wasn't a popular opinion by the Flux team, but the Flux will be burnt in that case. And we've just burned over 1 million coins. And in total, we've burned a lot more. So we are currently running servers on GTA, Rust, Minecraft, where people can just play without having to spend anything joining our servers, and they can learn about cryptocurrency and they can join the network. So that pretty much sums up what Neoxa is.
Welcome, buddy. We're glad to have you.
Thanks, bud.
And I guess I'm the last bring up the rear here. So I'm Dan Keller. If you don't know who I am, I'm the co-founder of Flux. Everything that you're hearing today, Flux set out for one reason and one reason only, and that was to be the decentralized compute network that helped all of these bright and shiny projects that are doing amazing things have decentralized infrastructure. So, you can't call yourself a DeFi project and go launch on Amazon Web Services or Google Cloud, right? So we want to make sure that we gave the opportunity for our layer 2 to really shine, our proof of use of work model. So we are a proof of work project. We're a fork of Bitcoin. We have, if you're not aware of it, we have master nodes on top of that. They're not really master nodes. They're fully functional nodes, all enterprise-based infrastructure that runs pretty much, I think everybody on this runs some infrastructure on Flux, which is pretty badass. Because I was sitting here thinking, I was like, I think everybody's on there. Hell, even Meowcoin and all of them, they're all here. So, which is really awesome. And that really gives us the ability to have a more decentralized infrastructure. We have Flux Cloud, which is, we have a Dropbox competitor, which is decentralized file storage, Flux IPFS, decentralized two-factor authentication, Flux Labs, and all the other good shit. So the thing that gets me excited in the morning is not just working on Flux, it's working with the brilliant minds in proof of work. Every single person here and every project here brings a ton of value. And to me, that's what makes a proof of work great is we are fostering and building a community where we're pushing that disruptive technology, those initiatives moving forward. So I'm really excited about that. Richard, what we'll do is we'll go through Doug first because he's got to go in 15 minutes. So if you have any questions for Doug, hit him up. And then what I'm asking is everybody to keep your answers to about 1 minute. Just a real quick top level. At about the top of the hour, we'll move to different projects, and then we want to start bringing the people in to ask questions that are in the group. So
yeah, and let's maybe cycle the what.
Stop fucking spamming chat, people. Like you're getting on my nerves with that shit. If you spam chat, I'm going to block you. Okay, so just don't do that. I love you guys. Go ahead.
I was going to say, Dan, because we've rushed through a few people, we'll give them a bit longer on the AMA, mate.
Oh, one more thing. My mother is watching today.
Oh,
so Mom,
wow.
She says, I don't understand it. She goes, but I like to listen to it. And Mom, these are my DGen friends that I hang out with. So hi, Mom. I just want to say hello.
Hello, Mom.
I'll get her a hat as well, Dan.
Awesome.
She's going to want it. She's got like 68 cats, I think. So she would love the hat.
Okay. So
Richard, we can't hear you.
I was going to say, I've got it now. First question from Seb's FinTech channel. Question for Doug KDA. What would your thoughts be on the Bitmain KA3 coming online? Are you worried about the network being monopolized by a single model of ASIC?
Great question. No, I'm not worried because it's really not about like the model that determines like the network ownership. It's really a function of electricity. And, Bitmain's a big company, but guess what? The amount of electricity that's being put into it is just enormous. And the units are getting shipped around. We think that ASIC miners are great for Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is running very solidly on them. And so we think that's a great thing for Kadena as well. We're just stoked to have a really well-respected and large company like Bitmain that looked at Kadena and said, hey, we think that this is an ecosystem worth investing in.
Fantastic. Okay, I've got any more questions. So, Ed147, how will the new layer 2 on Kadena be integrated?
Aha, that one I'm going to actually defer the answer on. Just stay tuned for more information.
So that's still under wraps then. So we'll
Yep.
watch
They call Doug. They call me Leaky Dan. You can be Leaky Doug. You can just give a little taste. I'm just saying. I'm just putting it out there.
Depends how strict that NDA
no
is.
leaks.
Any idea on timelines? Still no leaks. Okay, so Aurelian Desbrosses. Question: to all participants, what language, C, Java, is it possible to program smart contracts with? I think that's sort of getting it.
So for Kadena, we have our own smart contract language. It's called Pact. We designed it specifically for the purposes of blockchains based on learnings from all of the ones that came before us. And so yeah, ours is Pact.
From the Flux side of the world, we don't give a shit about smart contracts. We're all about us working with the projects that do it excellently. So we have a bunch of them on here. So why rebuild something that's already being done well by other people?
With Caspa, we don't have smart contracts yet. We're a blank slate. We're actually determining what kind of language we want to use. If you want to be active and part of that discussion, you can hop into the Discord. There's actually a smart contract channel for brainstorming smart contracts. However, after the Rust rewrite, we technically could start diving into smart contracts. But I'm using the disclaimer there because we have Dagnite after that.
Yeah, do you see it sort of need to make out what the best coding option would be for the developers around your team? Makes sense.
I mean, it really depends on what kind of EVM or VM solution you're running on the project. If you're running a VM solution, we are choosing to go with the most versatile one out there. So for us, it doesn't really matter because we're doing that specifically because Java and Python have a much larger developer pool than any of the other languages available. So being able to support them and to support C and C++, you get much further than limiting yourself to a specific thing.
In the case of Alephim, we also have our own smart contract language called the Half. Yeah. And it's like if you're familiar with Rust, there shouldn't be a lot of the languages inspired a little bit by Rust, hence the name actually. So it shouldn't be too hard for people to pick it up.
With POW, we actually don't have any smart contracts. We've got an asset layer built in, so you can actually create your own NFT straight out of the core wallet. And with Emporium coming live very shortly, you can build an NFT on our marketplace as well.
So Nexer actually already has smart contracts, but it still uses script, so very similar to Bitcoin with opcodes. There's a current project going on to actually build a higher level smart contract language that looks much more like JavaScript, and that'll obviously just bring the barrier down to entry for developers who want to build contracts on Nexer. But one of the challenges is that although we want to provide Ethereum level, close to Ethereum level smart contract capabilities, we don't want to limit the scalability of the chain. Like that's one of the kind of inherent problems with EVM chains. And so we've got to be careful about what we do allow and what we have to stop from happening to keep that level of scalability.
Awesome. Ergo, go ahead. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah, I hear some echo, by the way. So we have Ergo script, which is quite simple language, just a few pages of documentation, and then you can start. And well, syntax is similar to Java, Scala, maybe C++ a little bit. So yeah, in future there will be more languages, hopefully, or you can work on compiler. So it's possible to use different front ends after all.
Thank you.
Awesome. Is that everybody on that question? Anybody else?
I think so.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. For Radiant, we are currently in testing and finishing building out Radiant script, which is a fork of Cash script, and finishing the NFT and FT standards, doing it concurrently, so that way we hopefully in the future will not have to do as many feature upgrades. So trying to get it right the first time and giving our devs the love and care, so that way they can make a beautiful product. So we're really excited about the future of that. And because of the induction proofs that are built into Radiant, we feel like it really helps with the scalability issues that are inherent in some other systems, because you don't have to track the entire chain history. You don't have to have every transaction traced because of the power of the induction proof. So really cool stuff.
Awesome.
Oh, we got a question from Lisa Flux. So I think Doug's gone. So I think if we get another question to everybody, what I'm going to say is we'll get 3 projects up to speak, and it's first come, first serve, because otherwise it'll take forever to get through like a question to everybody.
Yeah, let's keep it to like a 30-second, response, so we can get as many questions for people out there as possible. We got like over 500 people watching, so just let's try to keep it moving.
Speed up. So, question to all:
Yeah.
How many of you are going to attend the Flux first ever conference, Cypherpunk 2023, which will be held in Florida, September 27th to 28th?
I'm offering up to every single project that is on this right now free entrance, and will feed you if you guys show up in Fort Lauderdale. So I'd love to see this roundtable live in Fort Lauderdale with all the people. So I'd love to have you guys there and gals.
All right, good name, by the way. We recently had Cypherpunk Finance Ergo Hack, so hackathon for ecosystem projects. And yeah, well, I will pass it to our folks in the US. So yeah, I think someone will join, definitely.
Fantastic.
Mate, September 28th, it's my birthday. How can I not go? Like, really?
I'm actually talking to Jeff K after about this, so we may be going.
Yeah, Alefim is up for it.
I think
it'd be awesome to have you all.
Yeah, it would. It's picking up, and I think there's going to be a lot of interest around there. So let's move on to the next question. So Pepe, so leaving political hypocrisy aside, do you think the energy limitation of the POW will be justified at some point? This might lead you into proof of use of work.
Can I have a crack at this one?
Yeah, crack on.
This is a human energy issue in general. Yeah. It's a worldwide issue. That is a mankind issue. It is not a proof of work issue. It doesn't matter what industry you go to. I'm in the wine industry as part of my other everyday job. They are battling the same problem. Wine uses a huge amount of water and energy in order to produce it, and it is a significant concern, especially with glass that they produce for bottles. The energy consumption of the world, when it comes to a banking institution perspective, is significantly larger than anything that the cryptocurrency industry does by like a mammoth amount. The proof of work energy argument is a complete fallacy because it completely ignores everything else that is using energy to produce anything of any sort in this world. And I would like to say to any person that thinks that proof of work is not worth the energy is, how much do you like your security? That is the key. That is the serious key thing. How much do you like your security? How much do you like your privacy? And I'm extremely passionate about that because I think that for too long, we have not had the right response to the narrative that's come on this. And I'm really passionate about sort of answering that question. So sorry, that's my high horse.
Go ahead.
Can I add something? Sorry.
Have at it.
Yeah, another point. I think that when people look at the energy consumption of proof of work, they really look at the energy to mine a block, to mine a new block or like this, but they don't look at actually the overall consumption of the chain, because there's also energy into running a node and having access to information without intermediary. And obviously, if you look at proof of stake, the cost of making new blocks is cheaper, but what is the cost of actually disintermediation and being able to have a trustless network where anyone can verify the information on the blockchain? Because in a lot of proof of stake chain, the cost of running a node is inaccessible even for businesses, and they have to rely on intermediary, which kind of contradicts a little bit some of the original principle of Bitcoin and blockchain around trustlessness and self-sovereignty.
100%. I think we all generate energy, and we all use it for these like specific use cases. And I think a lot of this is driven down to infrastructure rather than actually energy usage. So getting the correct infrastructure to store the energy we're actually generating, to potentially use that as a human race going forwards. We're burning renewable. Sort of not renewables, and there's plenty available, and I think Bitcoin and other projects are leading the way in sort of getting renewable energy for actually mining, because it makes it cheaper and it makes it more economic and it makes more sense. So we're going to pioneer the way forward for this rather than somebody who's not reliant on that technology, because we don't want to waste energy because it costs us money.
Bottom line, Richard, is the narrative that is being used against proof of work today is bullshit. I mean, it comes down to the back. We know, being in proof of work, that we're continuing to iterate toward. I believe at some point we could be carbon neutral across the board. People say, how can proof of work be carbon neutral? Well, if you all of a sudden take the compute resources, evergreen technology, whether you're using CPUs, GPUs, FPGAs, whatever it is, and you're able to use that technology effectively, like Flux is working with proof of use of work, we are going to iterate proof of work to a point where it's irrelevant for them to argue about it. We are already tracking our carbon footprint. We know exactly what we're doing for our project. And I know other projects are doing the exact same thing. So really what it is if you take things at face value, the way that Bitcoin does it today with lots of Asics and massive energy footprint, that's not the end target. The end target is to be able to use that compute resources, and even Satoshi Nakamoto's quandary about how he was going to use this compute resources. Each one of us working together eventually pushes us to the point where we're carbon neutral, and hell, we could even be carbon negative at some point with keeping technology out of the landfills, keeping things evergreen. We're looking at ChatGPT, which needs massive footprint. Elon just purchased 10,000 graphics cards. Well, imagine if all of us working together were able to supply those graphics cards back to them. So those are things that we need to think about in the grand scheme of things. And that fucking narrative is old and nobody cares about it.
That was that question.
Amen.
100% agree with everyone. If you don't mind, just really quick for Radiant, we do use SHA-512, which is slightly more secure and a little bit more efficient. So that's one thing that we've looked at in this space. But I think we could all rant and rave together and agree on this 100% over. But there are also external projects, like there's a team member that's using his GPU heat to heat water for an apartment in France. Innovative things like that are things that we can push with this technology.
And I would like to add. Sorry.
No, sorry. Go ahead.
I would like to add another perspective. So, unlike ChatGPT or porn industry, energy is not wasted here, right? So, in proof of work cryptocurrencies, it's converted into kind of digital gold, right? Which is better for ecology, I believe, in general, than traditional commodities, right? Which are not consuming energy, but also producing a lot of toxic waste and so on. And this digital gold, right, is basically stored energy, and it allows to build derivative financial tools to be used as money, right? So it's good monetary base, and in comparison with other possible option, probably the cleanest one even, right?
I mean, one of the things a lot of these alarmists fail to recognize is that in many cases, people from the cryptocurrency side of things are innovative, actually come up with good, strong solutions, make use of what would in many cases be waste energy. I've got friends in the heart of Borneo who mine with Asics, oil well flared gas. They use that to run generators. That would all otherwise just be burned off into the atmosphere, releasing how much of this equally bullshit CO2 into the atmosphere. But here it's used. It's made useful. You've got big players like, what is it they're called? The Bitcoin Asics up in the Arctic oil fields in northern Canada. Also making use of oil well flare gas because it's there. It's an abundant resource. It's otherwise just wasted. But you can move, and they're not taking any account of that in their baseless attacks.
I think
so
everybody's 100% on this.
Yeah, no, this will be for all the influencers out there that they're going to see this. So every single project that agrees to understand and communicate effectively about their carbon footprint, the reduction of carbon footprint, and the importance of proof of work, raise your hand now. Everybody, we're all in. So, I think that's super important, is that we identify those things and we become good stewards of that narrative, because we just need to counteract all that bullshit.
Yeah, I think if they spent more time talking about that and actually focusing on making the technologies sort of solar and things like that more efficient, and stop blocking that, we might get somewhere faster. But we'll see. Let's move on to the next question.
Yeah, it's loaded. This is a loaded question.
Kowtowing to that whole narrative is foolish.
Amen, brother.
There is no need to kowtow to it. If you can put together a rational argument for why you're doing something, you've already passed the test. For example, CPU.
Well, hold on. Let's get to the next. Let's get to the next question.
Yeah, because otherwise we'll be here for forever.
We'll start out with you on the next question. How about that?
Yeah, let's start with you on the next one. So, what does the panel think of Asics? Are they bad or are they good for the blockchain? That's an interesting question. Who wants to lead on that one?
I can start, actually, if you want.
Did we say?
Yeah, Big Piggy, if you want to take that first, you
okay.
Go.
I mean, both. We don't like them because we want to use our miners as a continued source of user growth. We want to be able to, via CPU mining, reach out to a couple of guys with a few solar panels in Kenya, have them come on the project. We've had kids with literally junk computers in Chile setting up solar, micro hydro, participating, making money, and they've now been able to make the jump to power up their whole village because of choosing CPU mining. If an ASIC is reasonably priced and readily available at scale, I have absolutely nothing against them. The problem is they're not easily available because there is limited foundry capacity. The additional problem is some of the manufacturers in mainland China have a long history of gouging and scamming.
Yeah, I mean, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Did you have something else?
No. That's it.
I would say ASICs, from the Flux standpoint, we're not a fan of ASICs. As a matter of fact, we're ASIC resistance. That's one of our commitments to our community as well, to make sure that we remain ASIC friendly. I think it helps with decentralization. I'm not going to diss ASICs because I know there are projects here that use ASICs, and that's just the way it is. I think it's you get both sides of the argument. You get people to say, well, you become more decentralized with more hash power on the network. I think that every single one of us will agree that it does add some benefit to some projects. Flux took a different path in the sense that we want to remain GPU mineable. We believe that that's going to be more decentralized. We utilize our node network as our kind of go-to for more higher level of decentralization. But in the end, I think that at least for us, for Flux, we prefer to be ASIC resistant across the board.
I agree everything with what you just said, Daniel. But I mean, Nexa obviously does have a goal to get to a point where we have ASICs on the network, and kind of like I explained in the introduction, the goal is to incentivize these ASICs to actually also do the useful work that the pool nodes are doing. So not necessarily mining pool nodes. So that this massive increase in efficiency and capability of this hardware actually benefits the actual usability and scalability of the network. And so in doing so, I mean, there's multiple sides to decentralization, right? I've always said with Bitcoin that the more people we actually get into using blockchains and cryptocurrencies, the more decentralized it is. Because if you have, let's say, half the planet using a cryptocurrency, then it makes it much more difficult for governments to come in and try and ban it or, control it in some way, because there's more people that are invested into it, and there's more people that have like skin in the game and want it to be free and useful and all of these things. So, just having more people using the network is a form of decentralization as well.
I would like to chime in on this one. So we're actually going through some ASIC rumors right now, and the community's got this debate going in full throttle. So there's rumors that there's going to be a few ASICs that are going to come to the market. We haven't confirmed whether they're legit or not. But in Caspa's stance, we were never ASIC resistant in a code technical standpoint. We were more like an ASIC resistance as far as the emission schedule. If anybody's familiar with the emission schedule with Caspa, it's extremely quick. And the point of that is while ASICs were in process of being developed, the GPU miners had a chance to get most of the mining done. By the time the network hits, the higher part of the emissions, and they're getting less. So far that's been working according to the design, but Caspa also is it's actually still compatible and was originally designed for optical miners. So if we ever see optical miners one day, this could actually also segue into the last question with power efficiency. We could actually be even more power efficient with the algo that we're using now. And that could be subject to change with these optical miners.
On Alephium side, we also made the choice to be ASIC friendly. It was some of the reason for us where that usually ASIC friendly algorithms are simple. So it makes it simpler to make a high performant miner. And also ASIC friendly algorithms are usually more lightweight, which in our case, being a sharded blockchain, this was something we wanted to, that was better suited for us.
I think the whole question comes down to what do you want your project to achieve? I think,
I was just thinking.
Who do you want to incorporate in your project? And I think it's also about where do you want that involvement of people in your project per se. So as a miner, one of the key things I wanted in the project and Meow answer as well was we wanted to have people participate because we believe that the people who participate and mine are the ones who also contribute and help to build and help to use and help to engage in the project at that end. And that was our philosophy and what we wanted our project to do. I personally don't have anything against Asics because I think that they're a natural consequence of humans wanting to excel at something that they do and humans wanting to build something to achieve. And I think what Asics are is they're essentially a philosophical discussion rather than anything else. Essentially, they're about where do you want your community interacting with your blockchain? And I think that's a legitimate question. I think Satoshi probably, whoever he was, may have had differing opinions on how that occurred. But I think it would be hard to say that Bitcoin isn't decentralized at this point, even with the influence of Asics. So I think that they're the questions. I think it's a neutral question in my mind. I wouldn't argue that one way or the other it's better or worse. I would say it's what do you want for your project and where do you want your community interacting and how do you go forward from there. So
maybe there's a different way of tackling this. Maybe it's taking the power out of the astronomical amounts they're charging for these miners. Maybe the market needs more competition to bring the price down.
The miners themselves, it's hard to actually say that, right? Because we went through a period where the GPUs were high priced too, remember? So, at some level, the GPU scarcity 2 years ago, 18 months ago, prevented people from getting in. I was paying twice the amount for a 3060 Ti that I should have been. But
it wasn't going at the scale of sort of 30 to 60,000 pounds for a box, was it? So
True. I guess the point is that when you have a source of technology that's coming from a specific area, that specific area is always going to try and bottleneck it and take advantage of it at some level. We shouldn't expect them not to.
one of the main problems with Asics is there isn't unlimited foundry capacity.
Correct.
And that means the supply will be more limited and it will be more centralizing in that sense. However, if you're like in Casper's case, going around it by putting most of the emissions into the first year, that fair? Absolutely fair. It depends on what you want to use it for. I mean, I see ASICs as being limited, a limiting factor in growth via miners. The less specific your hardware is, the more people can participate. It does have other problems. Every time AWS and Azure have awful security, which is a couple of times a week, then you get a lot of extra AWS instances all of a sudden mining your project. But that still, in the longer run, is relatively minor compared to grouping it up into a smaller handful of players. Unless you've done like what Casper have done, what Monero did. Monero were just dishonest about how they did it.
Monero dishonest?
Yep. They had all of their emissions in the first...
That was my sarcasm voice.
I hear they like their secrets.
Yeah, and secret miners and secret this and secret that. And I mean...
I'm just going to sort of say...
It's fair.
I'm not going to say anything against Monero because they've got no representation here, and this could be open to them as well in the future.
Absolutely.
So let's not go against projects like that, because I think that's what we're trying to stop in the communities as well. So I think Andy...
Rich called me out right in front of everybody. Holy shit. That's all right. You're right. Absolutely. We definitely need to keep it non-tribalistic. I think the whole ASIC standpoint, and then we'll go into the next question after that, is I think it's a tale as old as time. I think it really, if you can build a justification for your project to have them, it makes sense for whatever you're doing. Certain projects, they choose not to have them. That's great too. But I do agree, and I can't remember who said it, but to argue that Bitcoin would be centralized, especially with ASICs, is kind of a moot point. So I think that as these projects continue to keep maturing, I think if they're an ASIC-based project, people know that going into it. They know what the emission curve is. They know what the schedule is, so on and so forth. So I think it's just as long as you're transparent about it and share that with your community and make sure that you stick to that and not mess with your tokenomics, mess with your emission curve, not mess with your, I hate these projects that do token burns and all this other shit. So, I think it's super important. You just are transparent with your community.
Yeah, and it's the education piece, 100%. And I think that's what we all need to work on better, because sometimes that communication gets lost down the way, especially when you first set up a project. It develops and evolves on the way as well. And I think that's what a lot of people forget. So let's move on to the next question from Lazarus. So question for everyone. In short, what are the ways you're improving your networks to be ready for peak use, like future goals within now and the next bull run?
Can I grab
Question is, when's the next bull run?
So what Next is doing is we're actually soon going to establish a new test net where we can start actually adding in these specialized hardware into the nodes and ramping up the actual transactions per second on the test net, and just seeing, okay, because obviously it's very difficult to know ahead of time, like what actually happens to the network with such high throughput. So we're actually going to build a real world network test net, and then start adding in the specialized hardware and seeing where we get with it, and dealing with any issues that actually come up along the way, so that it's ready. Because obviously right now no cryptocurrency has anywhere near that level of throughput, but it's useful to know where the limits really are. So that's going to be our plan for the next year or so in terms of testing.
In Casper's case, we're actually doing the Rustlang rewrite. So we're originally coded in Golang. We're kicking over to Rustlang because it's far more efficient. And like I said prior, get like a 30 times boost into speed or whatnot. We also have Dagnite that's going to be incorporated, which is a new protocol that our founder Jonathan Sampoliski co-authored. He's also the one that founded Caspa, and that's going to make Caspa the first parameterless crypto. And what that means is we don't have a preset parameter for network health. So as latency goes up and down, we don't have to guess where it's going to be at for like a max or whatever. It's going to self-adjust. So as the network infrastructure gets better and better, as technology moves on, Caspa will get faster and faster. And if some kind of event happens where the network slows down, Caspa will self-adjust and slow down and widen the blocks out.
For Flux, basically what we're doing is we're building out that scalability for every one of the platforms that are here. So as your platforms are hit hard, you need additional nodes, you need block explorers, you need infrastructure, you can deploy that on demand with Flux. Perfect example is when Flux was listed on Binance. It about killed the project, but we never went down. Why? Because we were able to spawn 150 new block explorers in minutes because we had already had it running on the infrastructure. So, our goal isn't to look at today's infrastructure. We're looking 5 years from now. And that's exactly what we're working so that each one of the projects that are here and many, many more, whether your WordPress is running there, whatever, Flux will be that wetlands that be able to allow these projects to scale. So our goal is none of this bullshit when the price goes up and everything breaks, right? We want, when the price goes up and everybody starts to come in, that influx, no pun intended, for people to be able to support their projects effectively. So that's what we're working on.
Yeah. For Alephium, we've been running our mainnet for a little bit over a year, and we just had our first network upgrade. That really is the starting step for our ecosystem to grow, because we improved, we introduced a lot of new changes to our SDK, smart contract language, virtual machine. And I would say the next big step for us is, enabled by this network upgrade, we will have a bridge to Ethereum, which will allow us to bridge a little bit and bring a little bit of and grow the Alephium ecosystem. And I know that in the future, we also want to work a lot more closely with other projects and improve cross-chain interoperability. So we're also keeping a close eye on the work that Ergo is doing with the Rosen Bridge.
So everybody wants to be you are answering the problem. So I think everybody wants to be interpretable and to solve that problem. And I think that'll be something that we'll probably work on later on as well. How we actually work between the different networks to get the use case across each POW project for everybody to be able to use. I think that's the end goal, isn't it? So.
The big one is going to be permissionlessly interoperable.
Yeah.
Well, and for Radiant, I think Daniel had it spot on that you have to be prepared for the scalability to come. So we do have a test net running, and we have people mining on it with very low difficulty, so we can test out things in theory. We have all of our upgrades that we're working on currently. It's a 280 megabyte cap currently, and we plan on scaling that into the future as need be. But the protocol itself is set in stone unless there are any major tech upgrades or issues that we would have to fix. And we have been running smoothly since Genesis, and I don't see anything like that in the near term. But that's a great thing, because we want a stable foundation that people can build on and have forward and backward interoperability through the time chain.
Awesome. I'm going to start speeding up the questions a bit, because let's make it a 30-second cap. So maybe
everybody, just by show of hands, are you guys are you all good for about 15 minutes yet? We'll do a couple more questions.
On my side.
Yeah, and
if you can stay, that's fine. If you can't, we'll wrap it up in. Let's give it like another 15 minutes, and then we'll wrap it up.
Yeah. Should we do some speed fires?
Rapid, fast.
Rapid fast. So, question for everybody: what are the current team sizes for each project? How do you see that changing over the next year plus, based on your projected growth?
0. We don't have a team. So we're completely decentralized. Everybody's a contributor, and it's going to stay that way unless something changes with the community governance.
Okay.
Radiant is exactly the same way.
On the LFM side, we are around 10 core contributors, but we have infinitely more contributors from the community, and we are working towards having more and more people contribute to the protocol, and of course of the ecosystem, but also at the protocol level. And we plan on not growing. The opposite. We would like to fade into the broader community.
All right. So in Ergo, distinction between the team means the team working on layer 1 chain, right? And the ecosystem teams is becoming more and more non-existent, hopefully. Currently, still, there is some core team, there is Ergo Foundation, but there are a lot of active teams in the ecosystem, and they're contributing back to the core. They're building basic tools and so on. So the most active projects are Rosenbridge, building bridges, first with Cardano already in public testing, then with Bitcoin and other chains. So hopefully eventually with all the chains represented here. Then Spectrum Network, which is cross-chain DEX currently operating on Ergo to be launched on Cardano also. Lithos project going to changing mining hopefully towards decentralized peer-to-peer mining. Like there was peer-to-peer sidechain mining proposal for Bitcoin, but in Ergo it will be also on layer 2, and so on. So we are closely communicating, and it's going to be not the team, but kind of umbrella maybe, right? Association. So we are even discussing transforming the core entity from Ergo Foundation to Ergo Association, something like that. Sorry.
Flux, go ahead. Flux is a little bit. Oh, go ahead.
No. Go for it, Dan.
Flux is a little bit different than everyone else. We have about 67 people working on the project in different areas. That's part of Influx. Influx looks a lot like the Lightning network for Bitcoin. So we have a lot of folks. The one thing I want to stress is Flux is 100% community based. So we have open source code. People can participate from every walk, and we have developers that have come in there and never developed on blockchain, and they're already part of the team. So we believe in decentralization. We have an XDAO in place. That XDAO is important. It gives a voice to our community, and XDAO 2.0 will give miners, node operators, hodlers, all the ability to vote on the consensus mechanisms and everything that happens on the network. So it's all about community, but we do have a dedicated team that is, and we have to because of the scale of the project, to be able to participate and help tune things up. So we're a little bit different, but we're 100% community based.
Define team, really. If we're looking for RTM, if we're talking about people working on chain code, we have roughly tripled in the last 6 to 8 months in terms of active contributors. We try to make sure that to as large an extent as possible, we incentivize that for everybody. The rest of the team, it's huge. If we start looking at community contributors, community builders, it really is all about community. We've got people building asset marketplaces for our upcoming asset layer. We've got well north of 100 people building in one way or the other. So, I mean, but what exactly of that is team, I don't know. We've got a core team that focuses on the core code. Once we're done with the features development laid out in the white paper, we are all planning on slowly and gradually stepping back and giving over governance to a DAO on it. But we want to deliver what we set out to deliver first and foremost, and then it's up to the community where they take it from there.
We have I suppose a philosophy similar to many here, but we kind of consider ourselves the herders of cats. So we have a community, we're pushing in the same sort of direction, and I myself do much of the front end business work from trying to get things off the ground and running, and we've got another group helping support the community and the work that's done there to get everything moving essentially. So it's quite fluid.
So Nexa has, again, it's like a permissionless and decentralized project, so anyone can get involved, and all the software is open source and stuff. So there's nothing technically official about anything. Obviously, if the network rejects something, then that's what happens. But the kind of core team who work on it at the moment is roughly about 15, so they work on it daily. And obviously, there's community developers and lots of people that are helping out, putting the word out there, creating graphics, all sorts of different things going on in the community. And again, like many of the other projects here, the goal is to decentralize it as much as possible over time and make it so there is no core team, right? That should be the goal for kind of any decentralized project.
Yeah, for Radiant, very, very similar vision. It's exactly the same thing. There's no team. We are the team. It's a worldwide international community project. And I just want to take a moment to shout out to all of the devs that are working with the project and ones that have reached out and want to, because it's incredibly exciting. The collaboration has been amazing, and the whole community really appreciates it. So seeing something like this come organically is just beautiful. And like I mentioned, they're not really working on protocol. It's really more adding more to the ecosystem now. So wallets, sorry, someone's mic's on, some feedback or something. But wallets, explorers, raising block size. We need to upgrade our node. So we have a split node system where you have miners, agents, and archive nodes. So it allows for scaling and people to still allow to run a home node. So some interesting things we have, but those are not protocol based. They're all on top of it.
Yeah, with Nyaxa, we are currently 2 developers, me and Harvey, and we've hired a third. However, our community has been quite consistent, and we've had a few inputs from our community as well. However, Nyaxa is more run like a business than anything. I feel like Flux does it the same way, and we definitely will add more developers in the future.
Is that everybody? Wow.
I think that is.
These questions take ages because we've actually literally got everybody in proof of work in this space, so it's awesome. But I'm just going to give a shout out to this one because, this one is for all projects, no question. But thank you for all the work you and your projects have done. You're helping to create a more positive world, including the little man, point blank, period, cheers. So I think, that sort of encapsulates what I sort of envisioned from this space. I don't know how productive everybody's thought it's been, but I think what I'm getting is everybody's thinking in a similar direction and they want it to be more decentralized, and we've got a lot of community support and engagement throughout the POW space as a whole. I see it every day. I'm just thinking of a closing statement, but
I think
you guys have been
just
awesome.
Round table it around and give like a real real quick, thank you. So, and I'll start off because I'm the one that's talking right now. So, I just want to thank everybody for coming today. We had a hell of an attendance. I want to thank all the teams here today. You guys are really forward thinking. We're going to work on building this thing together, taking this to the next level. Thank you to the community members, each set of community, all the folks that are watching this in the future. We hope this is a monumental moment for proof of work. Some selfish plugs real quick. Cypherpunk2023.com. Come check us out. I've had people ask about the swag. Pretty much every person on here, it's got Flux.store. You can get this t-shirt and many more. And we're doing an auction for one of the NFT Titan watches as well. So if you visit us at Flux.auction, it's going to two awesome charities, Code Like a Girl and also Operation Paul's Animal Rescue. So the Meow Coins better get on that. So, but thank you all again, and we really do appreciate every one of you.
Thank you for inviting
Thanks,
us.
everyone.
This was an awesome time. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
great to
great.
meet y'all.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
you.
Appreciate you all showing up, and thanks for hosting, Dan.
Yep,
Hey,
absolutely. We're gonna do this again.
Yeah.
Dan, what one last thing? I don't think we got to it, but you had mentioned the PAC you had mentioned earlier, right?
The what?
Weren't you talking about like a political action committee or?
Oh
something
yeah, well
related to
I did
that?
talk about it a little bit at the beginning, but we are going to be setting up a website running on Flux. People can be able to donate anonymously, and we're going to use those funds to basically help out anybody that supports proof of work and cryptocurrency. So we'll, Davey, my good buddy, is going to probably be helping me out with setting that up. And yeah, all those funds, very transparent, all on the blockchain, so you know where it's going. We'll also announce which candidates it's going to at certain points in time. So if Elizabeth Warren wants to create an army of anti-crypto, we're going to create an army of proof of work advocates that are gonna participate. So I'm going to say our army is going to be a tad more motivated than theirs. So yeah, let's stick it to them the way that it should be done, and that is we'll go to it at every stage of the battle, and we'll make sure that we come out on top. So thank you guys for doing that.
Yeah, and on that note, sorry, there's some feedback. I don't know if someone's got a mic on, but thank you. On that note, I'm going to talk to the community. We just funded yesterday a Discord tip bot, so we should have that up running soon. And let's talk and see if we can possibly get a donation address set up for that. But I'll position that with the community and see what they say.
Okay.
All right, everyone. If anybody else has any closing, they can speak now or forever hold their peace to the next time we meet.
I just want to say thanks again, and thanks to the Casper community for squaring me away with this. We were kind of late to join, so I appreciate you all, Casper community, all the crypto blockchains that showed up today. Mad props. Kind of intimidating coming up against your competition, but we're all doing it in the same way with proof of work.
Not competition, my friend. Not competition. Opportunity.
I like that. That's pretty good.
Yeah,
when we all win, we all win.
Yeah, I mean it's
Go ahead, Dave.
good to get a chance to get it all out there, and yeah, thanks for hosting it. It's a good initiative.
Thank you, sir. And a special thank you to Richard and to Davey, Betty for helping put all this together, and the marketing and PR team for Flux. You guys have been amazing. Special thank you to all your community members as well. So I look forward to doing this again, and let's go change the world. Let's just do that.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I just want to say thanks to you guys for hosting this again. Really been a pleasure. Just one last thing from the Oxa community. We are certainly trying to get onto more exchanges because we are a new project. We're scheduled to launch Masternodes soon when forking Dashcode. We also invite all gamers to join the Neoxa gaming servers. This is your only gateway to crypto without investing a cent. And yet again, thanks for hosting it. It's been great.
Yeah, and I'd say that to the entire audience. I go through all the Discords and all these different communities. Go into each Discord and you'll find a great group of people. So you don't have to be tribalist. You can go between the different Discords and check out everything that's going on. And I'd definitely suggest that.
All right,
Yeah,
thanks everybody. Look forward to. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, yeah, thank you so much for hosting it. It's been an awesome experience, and I can't wait till the next one. And for my community, I think this really applies to all of us in proof of work. But everybody knows this is kind of my sign off. The future is radiant. Love y'all. Thanks so much.
That's awesome.
Thank
I
you.
love it.
I too.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you very
Hey.
much also for having us. And in the spirit of this meeting, I hope to see a lot of your community checking out Alephium, and I hope that you also see some of our Alephium community maybe checking out your project as well. And I'm looking forward to the next one.
Okay, should we, David, to
Yeah,
play
looking
us
forward
out?
as well. Thank you, Ron. Thank you, hosts.
Oh, why do they lie? Yeah. There's only one way to go, and that's Web 3.0. Don't be evil, Flux freeing all the people, fluxing on them now like a cheat code. Flux gon' keep you from a breach though. And you know we Web 3.0. Don't be evil, Flux freeing all the people, fluxing on them now like a cheat code. Flux gon' keep you from a breach though. And you know we Web 3.0. I know we fighting these corporate tyrants. They try to silence, but we can see they tried to censor our speech. They want no privacy. At night I can't sleep, cause my data they gonna breach. Don't be evil, plus being all the people, flexing on them now like a cheat code. Flux gon' keep you from a breach though. And you know we Web 3.0. Don't be evil, Flux being on my people, flexing on them now like a cheat code. Flux gon' keep you from a breach though. And you know we Web 3.0. And you know we Web 3.0. And you know we Web 3.0. We gon'